This year, the government gave dying Australians a right they never had before. Then it quietly pulled the funding that was supposed to make it all possible. Today, what changed, who's already missing out, and why this matters for the wider fight over assisted dying in Australia. Let's start with the win. For the first time, Australians getting government-funded aged care have a legal right to proper end-of-life care. Palliative Care Australia says this finally treats effective end-of-life care as a normal part of aged care, not as an extra. One change we think matters. People getting care to stay at home in their final months used to lose the extra support if they lived longer than doctors expected. They would get 16 weeks of funding and care, then it would stop. Anyone who has watched someone decline slower than doctors predicted knows how cruel that is. That rule is now gone. Palliative Care Australia's CEO Simon Waring called it a practical and welcome step because, as he puts it, people don't die on a timetable. And the numbers back this up. New government figures released in May show more Australians are getting palliative care than ever. Care in hospitals is up 46% in under 10 years, and for people who make it into a specialist program, care starts fast. 92% of people begin treatment within 2 days of being ready. We think that's worth saying out loud and clear. Properly funded care for people who are dying works. It gives people something no assisted dying law ever can: more time and better days with the people that they love. Here's the catch. Palliative Care Australia says more than 450 Australians die every single day from an illness that could have been eased by this kind of care. In June, the Tasmanian government revealed the federal government had cut funding to a program that was actually delivering it. It sent nurses into aged care homes to help people die with dignity. More than 4,000 people had used it. Almost all of them, 98%, got to die exactly where they wanted, usually in their own aged care home. Tasmania's Health Minister Bridget Archer called the decision extremely disappointing, and so do we. Within days, the Nurses Union said families were already feeling it. Only the sickest patients were still being seen. More than 1,300 Tasmanians a year relied on this program. When the Federal Health Minister Mark Butler was asked on the radio what responsibilities had he taken, he pointed to the new Support at Home program replacing it, not to the people who in the meantime are falling through the gap, while that new system is still being built. And the further you get from the city, the worse this gets. Rural doctors warned this year that more than 80% of specialist palliative care doctors work in major cities. The people who train them say the whole system was never built to reach the bush. As Australia gets older, the gap is only going to widen. Here's why we think this is the story that matters most. A right written into law means nothing without funding behind it. And every time real care for the dying disappears or never turns up in the first place, a person's choice isn't really free anymore. It becomes the only door left open. Funding real care for people who are dying isn't optional. It's what a compassionate country actually looks like. So tell us, do you think end-of-life care in Australia is getting the funding it deserves? Comment below, we want to know. And if this shocks or frustrates you, please do something about it. It is as easy as contacting your local MP or the Federal Health Minister's office and tell them funding for aged care palliative programs need to come back. If you want us to keep digging into stories like this every week, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps more Australians see the truth. We'll see you next week.